Welcome to Building Profitable Relationships, the podcast where we talk with successful entrepreneurs and business owners who have built strong and profitable relationships with their customers, partners, and peers. In our conversations, we explore the heart and science of relationship building in the world of business. Welcome to Building Profitable Relationships, where we continue to bring you inspiring stories and strategies for building strong relationships in your business. I am Yvonne A. Jones, your host and founder of the Building Profitable Relationships podcast. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Bianca Moreiras. She's a seasoned entrepreneur and business owner who has successfully built a thriving business by establishing meaningful connections with her clients and partners. Bianca, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Yvonne, for that beautiful introduction. I'm so happy to be here today.
Thank you. And I'm delighted to have this conversation with you and look forward to the nuggets, the golden nuggets that you will be sharing. So to get us started, please go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself and then share with us about your business and how you got started building relationships and communities around your business.
Perfect. Thank you, Yvonne, for that question and to get the opportunity to speak here today. Well, I have been in business for myself since 2004. I'm a solo entrepreneur and I have two lovely children. So I'm a mom, I am a wife, I am a sister, and I am a sister also in the Sisterhood of Christ. I love doing what I do. I love giving back. I consider myself a go-giver. As far as my business is concerned, I'm a business development and transition career coach and consultant, and I love what I do. I have formed wonderful relationships throughout the years, and it's just about thinking about giving as opposed to receiving, because it will come naturally.
I love that. And that is so true. It's amazing for those of us who are givers. And then I'm sure that speaks for the majority, if not everyone who is listening to this podcast. When you give without an expectation of return, isn't it amazing how you receive, how it comes right back to you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you're correct. Most people are givers. Most people want to help you. The problem is we don't ask. And my mama always said, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yep, you're right about that. And some of it, we won't even go into that discussion. Some of it is our culture, our background, the way we were raised. But the simple point is we have to ask, because people are not mind readers and they don't always recognize what we need or what we want. But when we ask, then we give them an opportunity to give and to be givers as we like to be perceived.
Absolutely.
So Bianca, tell us now, what do you believe are the key elements of building strong relationships with customers, joint venture partners, and peers? Key elements that have contributed to your success.
Wow, that's a powerful question, Yvonne. Well, the first thing is to be a really good listener, because you cannot help anyone if you don't listen to what their pain points are and or what they're seeking in their journey, what they're having difficulty with. So that's the first step. Then the second step is to offer without expecting what you know, a little bit of your knowledge, go back into your reach, the nuggets that you've learned throughout your career. You know, I've been doing what I'm doing for 40 years, and it's not that I'm wiser than anyone else, but I'm older and I might be a little more wiser. And then thirdly is to follow up with those people, even if you don't make that first sale or have a coaching situation, or they don't reach back to you right away. Keep them in your wheelhouse and find out about them, because everyone wants to know that you care about them. And that is very important. I think that is virtually one of the greatest things, and to be a good communicator.
Wow. So here's what I got from that simple question. Be a good listener. And we know that listening is an art because it has to be cultivated. It's our natural desire. And I have this issue. I have to work on myself constantly. I have the irritating habit of finishing my friends' sentences because I know what they're going to say, or my husband. That's something we have to curtail. Allow the person to speak, allow the person to share from their heart. And so, as you rightly said, when we listen, then we get to know what their pain points are, and then we can help them. You summed it up by saying that we need to be good communicators. So it's speaking, but more importantly, listening, so that what we respond with is what is relevant to the person. But I just want to add here, Bianca, we have to give ourselves the grace. We have the age. So yes, we have some wisdom too, right?
Yes, yes, for sure.
Now, you mentioned something about keeping people in our wheelhouse. How do you do that? Because I suspect it has to do with following up with them. How do you follow up, and how important has follow-up been to your success?
Oh, wow. Follow up is everything, Yvonne. And the way everyone needs to work, whether you're a solo entrepreneur or a big industrial or giant mega company, you must have a CRM. That CRM, where you're keeping all your contacts, could be as simple as an Excel spreadsheet. It could be as simple as Outlook contacts, or Gmail contacts. If you learn the product, you can manipulate it any way you want. And then you may need to add to it a constant contact, which will keep things rolling, or a MailChimp, because the only way that you can circle back to people is if you have some information about them. So what I like to do is categorize them. So all my coaching clients are in a category, all my business development clients are in a category, my career transition clients are in a category, et cetera, et cetera. And then potential clients, they have a category all their own. And then I break it further from there, what we ever discussed. You would be amazed at just asking simple questions and emailing, and then keeping them on your newsletter list or your email list. Go back and revisit it, because the funnel must always be full in order to drip properly.
Very, very wise advice. Now, you talked about a CRM, and I love the way you simplified it, so that even if someone says, I'm on a budget, I can't afford a fancy CRM, there are ways to do that with Gmail, Outlook. And you also mentioned adding in something like constant contact, so that would be an autoresponder service. Because of course, those things, an autoresponder service will make sure that you're in compliance with the Can Spam Act. So can you give us an example of following up, how following up has helped you in your business?
Perfect.
Just an example or a story that someone can appreciate even more deeply how important it is to follow up or implement what you have suggested.
Absolutely. Thank you, Yvonne, for that question. So as recent as a month ago, I went through my list, reading through it, just saying, who haven't I heard from, and who had all these aspirations and wanted to attain all this success and goals. And I started putting out individual emails, because individual emails, I already made a relationship. I can do that. It's not mass mailing of any sort. And in my subject line, I always put, "You've come to mind," because they did as I was going through my list. So I'm being authentic. I'm not being fake. And, a lot of times you just have to reach out because you never know what anyone's doing. That person did not answer me for 1 month. And just this morning, before this podcast, she asked me for a coaching hour because she still has the goals that she spoke with me about over 2 years ago. So can you imagine? You never know where your next best client might come from. So
Mhm.
follow up and do things as simple as that.
Oh, that's an awesome experience. Thank you for sharing that story with us. And it does emphasize the importance of keeping good notes, because if you just have the person's name and telephone number and email without making notes, then you don't know what your discussion was. Yes, you may remember, but how accurate it is. And in your case, you're being so specific with people based on what you discussed before, so they get the feeling immediately that she really cares about me. She's not just following up. And I love that you speak about authenticity. So that takes me to my next question that I want to ask you. What role do you think vulnerability and authenticity play in building deeper and more meaningful relationships?
Ooh, well, let me be a little vulnerable myself here for a moment. Especially women, we have such a difficult time asking for help. We try to do everything ourselves. We're the caregivers, we're the doers, we're the naysayers, and yet the builder-uppers. And we don't support our own emotions sometimes. And that's to be a little vulnerable and ask for help, ask for guidance. Find yourself an excellent coach like yourself, Yvonne, and take you through your business plan. Or, even myself, why not ask for help? It's okay if you need to move the needle and you're having trouble doing that. And sometimes you just need someone to chat with that's like-minded and in the same career or a career you would like to explore. So you really have to let your guard down. It doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're strong because you've taken the opportunity to ask for help and also to give help. Be vulnerable to that aspect, give and receive.
I love that, and I appreciate that so much. And as you mentioned that, I thought about one of my clients. Recently, we had one of our sessions, and I listened to her, and she talked and talked to us. I said, "What help can I give you at this point?" Because it was. She said, "Oh, no, no, no! You are helping me so much. You have no idea. You're listening to me. You're listening to me, and I'm an auditory learner. So as I speak about my challenges, and as I'm talking about them, she said, and I see your reaction. I'm being helped because I'm hearing them." And I'm speaking them, and it's making sense to me as I listen, as I talk about them, and I'm like, wow, this woman is a smart businesswoman, and she was being vulnerable. And so sometimes we think we have to have this stiff upper lip attitude, and that I'm the coach, or I'm this, and I have to be like showing like we're almost perfect. But people don't want that. They want to know they can relate to you and you can relate to them. So thank you for sharing that. And it is true, as women, I think we find it harder. We feel that we have to project project a certain air about us as if we've got everything in control. But thank you for the reminder, Bianca. That is important,
Absolutely. My pleasure.
to be vulnerable and authentic. So we're getting down to the nitty-gritty now. So here is something I want. You are a busy person. You're a busy woman. You are involved in a number of activities, as well as your coaching, your business, every aspect that you do. And yet you find time to establish, to follow up, to develop relationships. Excuse me. So, how do you balance managing building relationships along with your day-to-day demands of nurturing your business?
Great question. You know, as a coach, a lot of times we deliver great information to our clients and then we don't do it ourselves. So I try to practice what I preach, walk the talk, and I set aside at least 1 to 2 meetings, one-to-ones every day, whether it's on Zoom, in person. I prefer coffee because everyone could afford a cup of coffee, maybe not so much lunch or dinner. And every day consistently, whether it is with someone just renewing a relationship, like I did on email, or it is actually a new contact. Someone says, can I pick your brain? And I'll do it as a one-to-one, not, a chargeable event. And that just continuously fills your funnel with people, because you could ask them at that point, can I send you my email with little information I send out quarterly? Can I put you on my list when I have an event coming up? And things of that nature, and get the yes and get the okay. Because really, in life, you have to, for your business, get people from hello to yes. What a simple exercise. 2 small words could build your business to infinity and beyonds. And it's important for you to build those relationships. That's one. The second thing that I do is I always follow up. That handwritten thank you note. I love handwritten thank you notes because it's such a surprise when you get it, and the excitement that people feel, because I know how I feel when I get a thank you note. I think it's awesome. So with that, I'm getting people's addresses, because nowadays people only put their email and phone number on business cards, and I'm asking for their address so that if I have something, I can send them. Plus, I always want to send that thank you note. Email works well as well, but it's not the same. It really isn't the same. So be memorable. You must find what makes you different and genuine and authentic and vulnerable, so that people really know they can count on you when they call. That is key.
And that is powerful, powerful answer. Thank you for that. And you touched on an area that I love, I teach, and that is the power of the handwritten card. It's so small. It doesn't take any time. It's not like a big program, and yet it can make such a difference to individuals.
Yes.
So the final question I will ask, because I recognize that we are getting low to our time. Now, with all the experience that you have, Bianca, what advice would you give to someone who is just starting out in their business and wants to build strong relationships with their customers or clients, their community, their peers, possible joint venture partners, because everyone is a step by step. But if you want to pick just one, what advice would you give to a new person who is starting out in business?
Oh, I love that question. And my answer is $1,000,000 answer. If you sat down right now and wrote out your wedding list, who you would invite to your wedding, add to it your mother's and your father's list as well, because they have people. And as a young person, you would not even think of that, but a wedding list you'll put together. Once you put together that list, it could be 300 names. Then you better tell your mom to save her money for the wedding, right? But take whatever amount that list is and take the time to call each one of those people or email each one of those people and tell them about your new venture, your new job, your new investment, because they don't know. And they're a warm market. You must start with your warm market because you'll be disappointed if you go for the high hanging fruit. Your warm market, the people you know, love, and trust enough to invite to your wedding or your funeral, wherever you are in life, they will be receptive. And if they can't use you, you've now planted a seed that you could water, and it will absolutely grow and blossom if you do it properly. That's my best advice.
Wow. Wow. Wonderful advice, and not one you find in business books, really. So this is another area of your authenticity coming out right here. And you just said they may not use you, but you know what? They may know someone. Every one of these persons have friends, and they may know someone that you don't know who they can say, oh, so and so just told me he or she starting a business, and it sounds like they could help you, or you could use their services. Isn't that amazing? So in that case, these people, even though they may not need your service, could become your referral partners.
Absolutely. Yes, I just
Wow.
did that with a young lady. She was surprised she had 120 people on her list. She
Mm-hmm.
started calling, and after 15 calls, she got a client.
Wow. Congratulations on that. It
Thank
works. It
Yes.
works. Does work. Well, Bianca, oh my goodness, you have shared, as I said at the beginning, that I expected golden nuggets, and you have definitely given golden nuggets. I don't know if the platinum is higher, but I think you threw in some platinum there as well. So any last minute thing you want to share with us before we wrap up today? Any last minute tip you'd like to give to business owners today?
Yes. Networking isn't just collecting business cards. It's more important to meet one or two or three people at a networking event, a luncheon, a breakfast, and follow up by telling them a little something of what they told you, and keep them in your wheelhouse. Maybe they'll become your friends, your clients, a colleague even. So it's so important to not just take that handshake and that business card as your networking adventure. Put it to work for you. Put it to good use. And if you want any more tips about networking, which is my forte, please, you can reach me through Yvonne anytime.
Absolutely. Well, Bianca, thank you so very much for being my guest today. You have shared wonderful, wonderful tips and strategies, and I love your authenticity and vulnerability. You always, and we are great examples of exactly what you have talked about. Because we have done things together more than once, and we met online, right?
Yes.
So it's that building that relationship regardless of whether it's your clients or your customers. Someone may not become your client or customer, however you define them, but they may become a joint venture partner, as Bianca and I have been, or they may become a referral partner, or may become a collaborator. So don't discard relationships, build them. Thank you again, Bianca. Thank you everyone for watching and listening, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a wonderful day. And remember, when you focus on relationships, the money will follow.
Thank you, Yvonne.
You're welcome.